a democratic republic of sports. The Sportsocracy with ESPN Asheville hosts Tank Spencer and Jeremy Greene.
Welcome into the Sportsocracy. Tank Spencer and Jeremy Greene with you on a Friday morning from the Wicked Weed studio. WickedWeedBrewing.com. Drink different. We've got the NBA All-Star rosters are now set. They had the fantasy draft last night.
Team LeBron's going to smoke Kevin Durant's team like a summer sausage.
Yes, they are. I'm glad we're on the same side of that one.
I watched that live and went, is he even trying? Like, for the love of God, you get the last two picks anyway because Kevin Durant's not going to play. And you have Jokic, Luka Doncic, and LeBron. Mm-hmm. Yikes.
It's going to be a fun All-Star Sunday this week. Of course, with all the skills competitions and stuff peppered around, Adam Silver has made it a point to tell everybody this is a TV-only event. So they put out the nobody show up down in Atlanta for any of the festivities or parties or things like that. But I got a feeling we'll still.
I'm sure that'll work.
Yeah, I mean, it's Georgia. They're still going to be getting together.
I've been to Georgia in the last 6 weeks. I can go ahead and tell you, there's going to be a person there or two.
Yeah, just a few. Also, last night in college basketball, the best of the night was definitely Texas Tech. I enjoyed watching Texas Tech shellac Iowa State. And know that Jeremy's sitting there going, I thought 17 points was enough to take.
So I said that Iowa State should not be a 17.5-point dog to anybody in the Big 12. Apparently, I said everybody wrong.
Yeah.
I knew it's bad when you're at halftime. Getting 17.5 and you go, I have no shot of winning this. None. I'd already chalked it up as a loss with 2 minutes to go in the first half. Like, they are fucking terrible.
Right.
Overthought myself, but went 4-2. So there's that.
There is that. Plus, we'll have the Offseason Files, of course, for you. The next edition of our tandem teams that we're doing every day here. Offseason options for all of the teams. We've got the Carolina Panthers.
Hometown
of
team. Of
course, drafting number 8. The Carolina Panthers.
Never won. No Super Bowls.
Never won a Super Bowl.
No titles. No Hall of Famers. Never won.
Me and Brian were just talking before the show. I said, if the hype video inside the stadium this year for their games is not Keenan Thompson doing LeVar Ball talking about the Carolina Panthers, they've done it wrong.
Yeah. I mean, they stared into the skin.
What it costs.
They changed their tagline on Twitter to Gateway to Gastonia, which I gave them a lot of credit for.
Right.
Which for me is hard because I've talked a lot about the Panthers over the years.
So we got the Carolina Panthers and also the LA Rams.
Yeah, the LA Rams offseason preview is going to be real short. They traded for Matthew Stafford, and we're done.
And we have no other options to do anything else except for restructuring contracts and trying to figure out how to get under the cap.
Yeah, they pick at they pick what in the second round?
Third round.
They have a third rounder, a fifth rounder, and a seventh rounder. Mm-hmm. That's their draft. Cool.
Yeah. No, you were right. Second round.
Second round.
Second rounder, sixth rounder, and a seventh rounder. Yeah.
That's phenomenal. That'll be a hell of a draft class.
And they're $40 million over the cap already. So yeah, that one might be brief.
They're a little overextended.
Last night in college basketball, though, yeah, your little Iowa State pick didn't come to fruition.
Texas did, though.
As they ended up losing by 27 instead of 17.
Oklahoma State did. Oklahoma State was a 12.5-point dog. I had them. Lost by 12. What up?
Lost by 11. They're like 81-70 was
12-point dog, lost by 11. There we go. It moved to 12.5. I got it at 12.
That game was teetering around the 12-point mark in the second half for much of it. Like, it was a 12-point game, and then it got down to a 7-point game, and then it went back to a 12-point game, and I kept going,
I was sitting there just going,
gonna be pissed.
I was just sitting there going, how's this one gonna fuck me?
Right.
I know it's coming.
Oh, yeah.
But thanks, Universe, for finally giving me one. Jeremy 1, Universe 412.
Right.
Dick.
Yes, Texas beating Oklahoma last night was big in the Big 12
Texas is pretty good.
They are.
Texas is one of those teams that we don't talk about as being competitive to win a title, but they are. I mean, they go out in the first round, but I feel the same way about them that I feel about every team that's not Gonzaga. You get beat in the first round, I'm not going to be shocked. Okay, I'd be.
You'd be real
all
shocked.
right, if West Virginia Technical Institute for the Blind beats Baylor, I'll be a little shocked.
Right.
But.
And number 2, Michigan last night, beating Michigan State by 19.
Yeah, Draymond, I don't really know why you did a hype video for Michigan, but you did it wrong.
I don't know what the video was.
Oh, it was basically, if I was Juwan Howard, I would have shown this video and just gone, uh-huh. That's what he thinks.
That's apparently what he did.
It's 100% what he did. It's what I would have done too.
But
Shut him up.
But where the Draymond Green video came from, we don't know. We don't know what video it was. It was some video of Draymond Green talking about the University of Michigan and saying how he hopes they never win another game ever. And the guys were like, let's do this. Let's shut this guy up.
Let's beat you by a bajillion.
Right. Billboard material, it has its place.
Oh, yeah.
It can definitely spark up a locker room. And a 19-point beat down from Michigan over Michigan State last night clinches them the Big Ten, which only made it even worse, or should make Draymond Green feel even worse today. But let's face it, Draymond Green's an asshole. He doesn't give a shit.
And he's a lunatic. And he's not good at basketball. I heard somebody the other day say he's a no-doubt Hall of Famer.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
If that's true, stop it. You want to know why I never talk about the Basketball Hall of Fame? That's why.
Draymond Green, I've heard Draymond Green is a Hall of Famer at least 3 times in the last 3 days. And one of them was Juwan Howard. Juwan Howard said in his post-game press conference last night that Draymond Green, who's a Hall of Famer in my book, I had to show that video. And I went, is he really? Is he a Hall of Famer? And it's hard to get me, the guy who wants to put everybody in the Hall of Fame, to go, is he really a Hall of Famer?
Oh, yeah. If Mr. Participation Trophy over here says that you're not one, you rest assured, I wouldn't even put you on the ballot.
So never would get a vote.
Never voted for.
College basketball is down to the conference tournaments. We got a few that are going on now that, I mean, we'll talk about this afternoon on the ESPN Asheville show. Are there any bid stealers that could happen this weekend? The first one that comes to my mind is Winthrop. Winthrop in the Big South tournament, they won last night. Campbell won last night, so that's going to be the final.
Yeah, and they're going to win.
Of course they're going to win, but if Campbell wins that, the question becomes, does Winthrop take a spot from somebody on this week bubble having only 1 loss on the season?
I mean, they would for me, but I don't think they will for the committee.
Yeah.
This is one of those years where every team's so similar that you get into, you have 20 wins over the Big South? Cool story, bro. That and $1 will get you a Coke.
Right.
You lost to UNCA, of which we love UNCA, but
Regular season's wrapping up for the big conferences over the weekend. We've got the North Carolina Tar Heels and Duke facing off tomorrow, which is going to be just a game with super intrigue with both of these teams trying to make their case to be in the field. We believe Carolina's in the field.
We know Carolina's in the field. I'm going to keep saying that every time you say that until you understand what I'm saying.
Look, you never take anything for granted.
We're talking about Minnesota being a bubble team. They've won 2 games since the last week in January. I think Carolina will be just fine.
I believe so as well. Duke, though, definitely needs this game to cement their place in this, or else they're going to have to win a couple of games in the ACC tournament to make the field, because they're still on the outside looking in right now.
I'd agree with
that. Let's talk about the NBA. Last night, I mean, any of the games last night send you?
Denver's real good at basketball.
Well, we all knew that.
Denver's real good, and you have fucked around and let them catch their stride. 2021 NBA champion, Denver Nuggets!
If you had known Paul George was not going to play last night, I don't think you'd have taken the Clippers in your gambling segment.
They lost to the Wizards.
Yeah, he got burned by PG-13 last night.
Hey, on the bright side, I did tell you to play Miami, and that went nicely. Jimmy Butler at the last minute goes, I'm playing. Doesn't make any sense. Last game before the All-Star break, but here we go.
Which is great.
And then Zion was mysteriously out. Right, I saw that and went, I'm catching points with the Heat against a New Orleans Pelicans team that does not have Zion Williamson. I wish I'd have bet my house on that literally. I'll take out the not. I wish I had literally bet my house on that.
It worked out pretty well in your favor. The big thing.
The Suns was the other one. That was one I told you about because I saw Steph Curry was out after we had already done the production and all that.
Right.
I was like, oh, the Suns are playing the Warriors G League team. This should be fun.
And what was that one? Like 120 to 98?
I'll give you $1 right now. Hey, don't look. I'll give you $1 right now if you can tell me who the leading scorer for the Warriors was last night.
Can't do it because I'm thinking.
I'll give you a hint. The leading scorer for the Suns was Cameron Payne.
Ew.
That should tell you how much the starters played.
Was it James Wiseman?
Nope.
No.
It was Jordan Poole, who had 26.
Nice. Yeah, because I saw last night. Draymond wasn't going to play, Steph wasn't going to play, and Kelly Oubre was probably not going to play. So I'm guessing he didn't end up in that game.
Alexander in the comments said that shit literally happened 20 minutes before tip-off. I know. I play DraftKings every day. I get little nuggets from time to time of, you probably shouldn't play this guy. Just don't. Mm-hmm. It doesn't always work out in my favor, but sometimes it does. People get so mad at that. I've been one of them. I've had, the reason that I'm on a hashtag never play Anthony Davis, I've been burned by that motherfucker more times than I can count. Mm-hmm. Oh, my eyebrow hurts. Can't play. You were in the starting lineup. Can't. Hurts.
That would drive me absolutely insane.
It's one of the reasons the NBA. It's one of the reasons the NBA DFS has never taken off to the point that like the NFL does.
No.
And I've long said the NBA needs to get this shit under wraps. They don't care. Mm-hmm. They don't care. There's enough people like me that get enough good information that they're like, meh.
What would you do? That if you're on the lineup card, you have to play, or what? You get fined?
No, you have an active-inactive roster. You stop letting teams carry 15 players into a game when they play 8.
Yeah.
That's stupid. Penalize the team. Oh, you carry 11 guys into the game. Mm-hmm. That way, if you've got a guy that's questionable to play, you don't put him in the starting lineup and screw gamblers 5 seconds before the damn game tips off.
I see what you're saying.
Oh, now you have to carry that bum piece of shit that's sitting over there in a suit.
Last night in the NBA, they also had the All-Star Game roster selection, the fantasy draft. LeBron James, the captain of his team, and Kevin Durant, the captain of the other team. We can't. I really don't like this East-West fantasy matchup thing. I think I missed the division of having the East against the West.
I don't. I love this. I love this with everything I have. And Kevin Durant I hope you don't have weird illusions of being a GM one day, because you suck at drafting a lot. I looked at the guys.
He's got Kyrie Irving. That's all he needs.
Well, he got screwed because he had to take Kyrie Irving first. That's like playing a game of dodgeball, and your girlfriend is one of them, and you're like, fuck. I have to take her first, or it's going to be bad for me.
Right.
Yeah, how are they coming?
Shit. I think we saw this last year. LeBron, he took Anthony Davis first.
Oh, and then he took James Harden first in the, of which that one, not that bad.
Right.
My favorite part of this was on Inside the NBA. They asked LeBron James why Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert went last. And he said, it's because dudes never played with Utah in video games when they were kids. And as soon as he said that, I went, he's got a point.
No disrespect to them, but yeah, nobody ever took the Utah Jazz in video games.
I wish they did. They tried to do this in the Pro Bowl, and there's too many players. Mm-hmm. I wish the Pro Bowl was like a 7-on-7 game. Well, I mean, we'll bring the linemen in, and they I don't know what the fuck they're going to do.
Stand there.
Do something. Hang out on the sidelines.
Limbo competition at the line.
I don't know what they would do. I would love to have an NFL fantasy draft like this for the Pro Bowl. That would at least make it interesting to me. Because I really do. I could give a damn less. Have a flag football game. That's what it is anyway. I mean, hellfire, they tackle like this. Mm-hmm. He's down.
He's down.
He's down.
I think that would be a very long, drawn-out process. You would watch it? I guess we would watch it.
We tried the fantasy draft. You remember when we did teams, and it was like Team Jerry Rice and Team Deion Sanders?
Yeah.
And the draft took 4 hours. Mm-hmm. With my 53rd pick, I take some lineman from the Baltimore Ravens that nobody gives a shit about.
Right.
I even turned that off, and I live for drafts. The only reason I have this chair is because of how good I am at drafting things.
Right.
That's it. I'm not good at shit. Well, some things. Kind of funny sometimes.
I think
funny goes a long way.
They should just do them as units. Like, this is the East or the AFC offensive line and the NFC offensive line, and they get one draft spot. That could save a lot of time.
Yeah, but that makes it suck. You took my idea and you pooed on it. I don't like it.
But this way you don't waste time on the linemen. Yeah. You just take the best from each conference.
Yeah, okay. It's whatever. I like drafts. We should draft more things.
We should draft everything.
We should draft everything. We should have drafts to pick where we're going to eat for lunch. With my first pick, I select Zaxby's. I like Zaxby's.
Nice. My first pick, I'm taking the Centerville Luncheonette. If you haven't tried that place in Woodfin, that place is awesome.
I'm going to be really honest with you. I handed him my credit card yesterday because we were super busy. We put out all of our off-season previews. If you've missed your team, go to our YouTube channel, subscribe. You'll be able to find your team within by the end of next week? We'll be done with every team by the end of next week?
Yeah.
So we were super busy. I'm starving, and I hand Tank my credit card and go, get me something from wherever you go. The second he walked out the door, I went, that's heartburn. Yep. There's going to be heartburn involved in that.
Yep.
Because I guarantee you it's going to come from something that starts with, can I take your order?
Uh-huh.
And do you want fries with that?
Pretty much.
I was right.
That seems to be all we ever eat, though.
No, we had a bomb-ass meatball salad. I eat better than you fuckers. I saw Brian come in here with a salad the other day and thought I was having a stroke. This is the same dude that went to Wendy's and got 2 bags for himself. Yeah. Just sandwiches.
Yeah.
I like sandwiches.
We all like sandwiches.
Like
we don't
sandwiches.
tend to eat 14 of them at a time.
God.
I added it up. It was my caloric intake for 2 days in 1 bag.
There were 7 sandwiches in there for him.
Yeah.
Or no, was it 9?
It was 7.
It was
7.
7 sandwiches. Just for him. And there were 9 in the total bag because it was 1 for me and 1 for Jeremy and 7 for Brian.
Winning.
He wears it well. Hashtag sarcasm. Anyway, this rabbit hole.
4th person I've heard him call fat in a day.
What?
I want to use the Tom Segura line on you. Mm-hmm. Like, you should want his body. Like, you're way fatter than him. Like, by a lot.
Right. I'm not disputing that.
Like, by a lot.
It's not that much. Anyway, back to back to the fantasy draft for the All-Star teams. Yes, Team LeBron is stacked, and there is no way I see Team Giannis being able to win this, or Team Durant being able to win this. Durant's not playing, but LeBron has Giannis. He's got Steph Curry. He's got Luka Doncic. He's got Nikola Jokic. He has Damian Lillard, Ben Simmons, Chris Paul, Jaylen Brown, Paul George, DeMontis Sabonis, and Rudy Gobert was the final pick because only the Utah guys get picked last.
Oh.
No. And then Team Durant ends up Kyrie Irving, Joel Embiid, Kawhi Leonard, Bradley Beal, Jason Tatum. Then you got James Harden, Devin Booker, Zion Williamson, Zach LaVine, Julius Randle, Nikola Vucevic, and Donovan Mitchell coming off the bench. I think one team's a little lopsided on
I'm
this.
going to watch this and I'm going to enjoy it, and I don't give a rat's ass. I liked the draft. Beyond that, I don't care. And then they're going to do the 3-point shootout at halftime. Like the teams are going to go in the locker room and
The slam dunk.
Or the slam dunks at halftime. No, that's right. That's right. The 3-point shootout's before it.
Right. Skills, competition, 3-point before slam dunk at halftime. Which we're going to see 3 guys, one guy who's not even in the league.
That's Cassius Stanley. He's going to win this. If you can find somewhere to bet on this, bet Cassius Stanley. And literally bet your house on it. The other 2 are fine. He's that dude.
Uh-huh.
Cassius Stanley can dunk in a way that very few people that have ever lived can dunk.
Right. I mean, Obi Toppin, he dunks great in a game.
Mm-hmm.
In a game, but not, I don't think, in practice.
But he does that, like, big guy dunk thing that he just dunks really hard.
Mm-hmm.
It's not so much that it was really all that impressive. It's just he's a gigantic human.
And it works for dunk contests for big guys if you have the athleticism and the leap of like Dwight Howard. But otherwise, I don't feel like power is really a thing that's going to put you as a favorite in a dunk contest.
Adam Black asked in the comments if they're doing that weird finish. Yes, they are. It's called the Elam ending.
Yeah, the Elam ending.
We've actually had that guy on our show.
Mm-hmm.
The guy that came up with this. He started talking, and I went, I'm too stupid to talk to you. He's like a professor or something, isn't he?
Yeah, Nick Elam. He's a professor at one of the Illinois, I think, like Southern Illinois, Northern Illinois, something like that.
He's entirely too smart for me to talk to.
Right.
So I just took my headphones off and went, you do it. Now that's what I do with interviews in general.
Pretty much.
I don't know what to ask. Like, I like to talk. And then other people smarter than me talking, I'm like, I'm too stupid to talk to you.
Which is why you fit in good with me, because you're smarter than I am. And you like to talk.
You're not wrong. I saw no lies told in that. Stephen Town just brought up something that I want to get pissed off about. Stop screwing with things that I loved as a child.
Oh, what did they do to Lola?
Bunny is bullshit now.
No way. What did they do to Lola?
They took away a very noticeable asset from Lola Bunny.
They took away her boobs?
They did. Lola is not Lola anymore, and I don't like it. That was trending on Twitter yesterday.
Yeah. Well, that's unfortunate.
By the way, I was yesterday years old when I realized how many of my friends had weird fantasies about Lola Bunny.
Yeah.
There's 2 of them in this room, just so you know. I had never thought of that. Apparently, I watched Space Jam as a child a little bit differently than everybody else did.
Yeah. Can't say
Her
anything
name
to
was
that one.
Lola. Mm-hmm. She was a show.
Okay, better cartoon character.
Jessica Rabbit.
Jessica Rabbit. Or Lola Bunny.
Jessica Rabbit. My wife dressed up as Jessica Rabbit for Halloween a few years ago.
It was a fun night for you.
It was good. It's good times.
It's good times.
Good times, great oldies, 96.5.
Nice. Yeah, we've all been there. I hate that. I didn't even know they changed Lola.
They also made Bugs 3D, which I can't figure out if I love or hate.
Well, they have to. They have to.
I look at it and I'm like, but that's not Bugs Bunny.
But the technology's better. They feel like they have to use it. It's at their disposal.
You know who I hate of the screen grabs that I saw?
What?
3D Tweety Bird.
Yeah, weird, right?
Fuck Tweety. Yeah, Tweety. Now Tweety's just a grown-up pigeon. Fuck Tweety. I don't like birds. Hashtag birds aren't real.
Space Jam 2. I'm ready for it.
Woo.
Yeah, Kevin Vick, I agree with you. Jessica Rabbit all day.
Wah wah wah.
So, do we know who's going to be competing in any of the other All-Star events, or do we even care?
Which one?
The 3-point contest.
Yeah.
And the skills competition. Mm-hmm. Is Nikola Jokic going to be in the skills competition again?
The 3-point shootout is Steph Curry's in it. It's here somewhere. Devin Booker, Steph Curry, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Zach LaVine, Donovan Mitchell. I probably should have read that before I read it out loud.
Donovan Mitchell?
Donovan Mitchell? What the
Yeah,
fuck?
he's a guy.
Yeah. Yeah, but he's not that great of a I mean, he's a decent 3-point shooter.
Easy
And then the
for
skills
who?
contest.
No, I'm going to disagree. I'm going Devin Booker.
The skills contest is Luka Doncic, Chris Paul, Julius Randle, Domantas Sabonis, Nick Vucevic, and Robert Covington.
That's a lot of big guys. I like a lot of big guys.
There's
being
a
in the
lot of
skills
big guys.
competitions.
There's a lot of big guys.
Well, because it just goes to show you, years ago in the skills competition, you'd only get point guards. You'd only get, Steve Nash dominated that competition for the first, 4 years? First 5 years, he was the champion every year.
I'm just pissed off Jokic, isn't it? I want Jokic to win
He's already
this.
won it, though, hasn't he?
Did he win it?
I think he won it. I may be wrong about that, but I think he won it.
You keep talking, I'll look.
Because
I can't believe that my favorite player, the greatest center that ever lived,
Right.
won that, and I didn't know it.
The skills competitions has never been my favorite. It's
like
one of
it.
those that I can skip that and tune in for the 3-point
No, he didn't win
competition.
it. He went to the finals and lost
Okay.
to somebody. I can't remember who it was.
Okay. I knew he was in it, and I knew he did pretty well in it. Of course he did, because he's probably the best all-around big man ever.
Ever. In the history of
I mean,
ever.
when you think of the way he can bring the ball up the floor and the way he can pass and all that, I don't remember another center who could do all of that. I'm not saying he's the greatest center of all time, but what I am saying is when you look at his all-around game, it's kind of like my LeBron comparison. When you look at LeBron as an overall franchise guy, I think he's the greatest of all time. When it comes to pure play and scoring and all that, I think Michael's got him beat. But I think Nikola, with everything taken into account, he's probably the best all-around center ever in the NBA.
Adam Black said, forget cartoons. Kelly Kapowski. I'm married to Kelly Kapowski.
Would
Literally.
you stop feeding him these things?
Literally. That's now 2 things they've said in the comments, and they both pertain directly to my wife. Mm-hmm. My wife, we discovered
Once you see it, you won't unsee it.
We discovered about 3 months ago, we found a picture of Tiffany Amber Thiessen now, and she looks exactly like my wife. Mm-hmm. And that was the single greatest day of my entire life. And I've used that a lot.
Kelly Kapowski or Topanga from Boy Meets World?
I've actually met Topanga, so I'm going Kelly Kapowski.
Really? Mm-hmm. Well,
She went to Wake Forest.
really? Mm-hmm. I did not know that.
She's a very nice person. Mm-hmm. She's a little bit older than me. Not tremendously. She's probably 40 now. But yeah, she's a very nice person. Mm-hmm. And she's rather attractive in person.
I was getting ready to
Still
say.
going Kelly Kapowski.
Still going Kelly Kapowski.
Oh, no
I think
doubt.
I'm on the Topanga side.
Nobody's beating Kelly. And you're getting killed in the comments,
Oh, I'm
by the
sure
way.
I
It's
am.
Kelly, not close.
I got to do something to be different.
Here's the thing. You asked me a question that there was absolutely Stephen Tao did say Kimberly, the Pink Power Ranger. Also good.
No way.
Also good.
No.
Oh, you go. Fuck all the way
way.
off. Oh, yeah, that was, there were, yep. That's all I'm going to say.
No, she falls into that Hillary Swank category for me.
What?
Yeah. The tall pink Power Ranger.
First of all, she wasn't tall. She's like 5'2".
Okay.
Well, I mean, 5'2" is
It
tall
is
to
tall
him
to
because
me,
he's 5.
'cause, yeah.
He's 5 flat.
Yeah.
Without the lifts in his shoes, that makes him 5'2". She couldn't wear high heels with you. I'll put it that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I'm out on that. Hey, well, at least Stephen Tao and Luke Marshall Haynes, they both believe
Yep.
Pink Power Ranger.
And I'm
all
with
the
him.
way.
I'm here for it. How the fuck?
I
did
think
we
the
get
yellow.
Here?
I think I was a fan. I was more of a fan of the Yellow Ranger, Trini. I
Trina.
think was her name.
Trina.
Yeah, Trina.
Why do I remember this? Oh, Winnie from the
Because-
Wonder Years, also a good call.
Because we're dudes.
God, we're
And that's what we do.
We
and
have
this is exactly why they changed Lola Bunny. So we don't sit around and have these conversations about what cartoon character is sexy, because it might offend the ugly sexy, or the ugly cartoon characters. Jesus Christ, it's a cartoon.
and that's where
Get
we're
over
at.
it.
That's where we're at in the world.
Of course it is.
I mean, literally, we've been on a 3-day venture of how offensive is Dr. Seuss. The book that
yes, Stephanie Tanner from the Full House reboot. Yep.
Major gobble.
She wins.
This all started with Lola Bunny.
This is well,
Did you? First off,
you to
wait.
hold on before you say what you. I want you to understand that we got here by starting this with a cartoon bunny rabbit.
Yep. A literal rabbit hole is what this is.
Oh my God.
No, I have to ask you.
Steven said it as I was saying it. This started with a fictitious cartoon bunny.
Have you seen Grown Up Stephanie Tanner?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Just
I watched a little bit of Full House. Wasn't my Jamie.
But you saw the
And by the
reboot.
way, just so we're all clear, the fact that you all watched Full House and it wasn't DJ that did it for you. What are you doing?
I never said that.
DJ Tanner was the first love of my life.
Agreed.
Which is funny because I'm the same age as the one the crazy one. There's two of them.
Stephanie?
Nope, there's two of them.
The Olsen twins?
Yeah, the Olsens. I'm the same age as those two.
Yeah.
But it was still DJ that.
Oh boy.
Always DJ. How thirsty we are to talk about anything these days.
I'll be honest with you, I love these days. I love it, and I'll be honest with you. And I wanted to talk about this today anyway. So I'm going to go off on a rabbit hole that I didn't tell him I was going to go off on.
Oh, wonderful.
I have now figured out the way that we should all say the we don't care what athletes say in politics thing.
Okay.
I have figured it out. I was laying in my bed this morning watching CNN. They were talking about, and don't ask me why I was watching CNN because I have absolutely no idea how my television wound up on that. But they were having a discussion about LeBron and some political thing he said. More power to you. You want to talk politics on CNN? Sweet. I have figured this out. If the media entities would stop covering it, the sports media entities, and leave it to the CNNs and the Fox Newses and all that shit, I don't think any of us would have a problem.
No.
I don't, because that's like going to the grocery store and trying to buy toys. You know, it doesn't make any sense. I came to buy a honey ham and some bread, and you're trying to sell me a wiffle ball bat. It's not why I'm here. That's not it. I came for sports. So talk about sports.
Well, you know what?
And let the political entities talk about athletes' politics. More power to you. You talk to it about it all you want to.
There's a major problem with that. The problem with that is this is the aspirations of young sports reporters. Sports reporters get into now I'm not saying all sports reporters, but you find this with a lot of sports reporters over time, is that eventually you, I don't know, grow out of sports. You realize that there are other things in the world. And a lot of people in the sports media have gone on to careers in news media. Mm-hmm. And this is kind of what a lot of them want to do.
And that's
they
want
fine. To talk about these
And that's
things.
fine. And their ratings are cratering for a reason.
I understand. And at some point, the bosses are going to look at it and they're going to go, this doesn't work. We have to stop doing this. But until this point.
No, they're not. No, they're not. No, they're not.
You don't think they'll ever do it?
Hell no.
Oh, I think.
No, they're down
they're
this rabbit hole because of what you just said. This is what they want to do. That's the beauty of us. That's not what we want to do. He's talked politics for as many years as he's gonna. I don't want to, because if you find out what I really think, I'm not gonna have any friends anymore. Because I am an asshole.
I mean, I'll be glad to jump into the arena with you and talk about it if you want to, but it's not something that I want to do. See, I was the exact opposite of a lot of, radio and TV people was, some people use sports as the springboard to get into what you wanted. I had to use politics to springboard into sports and to start doing what I wanted to do. What?
There's been a conversation going on in the comments, and I didn't know who these people were. I Googled it. Now I know why this is funny. Yep. Now I know why this is funny.
But I mean, this is where we are, and until an entity comes down and says we don't want to talk about this anymore, it's not pertinent to what we want to give to our audience, we're going to continue to see it.
We have one of those entities. It's us.
But we have one. But here's
you're
the thing.
about to see a branding of this show that's going to get hardcore into the fact of we talk about sport. I don't give a damn what you think. I don't care what any athlete thinks about politics. That's not my shtick. That's not what I'm here for. I talk about 40 times and 3-point percentages and shit like that. If you want the other shit, cool. You can consume all kinds of other products. It ain't gonna be this one.
Yeah. But as the world divides, as the political world continues to divide, the sports world is going to continue to divide. And so you're going to end up with, just like we have the major networks right now with news media, you've got your CNNs and MSNBCs and all of those, and then you got Fox News way over here. It's going to be the same in sports, I think, after a while. We're going to have ESPN on one side, you're going to have Fox Sports on the other side, because Fox is embracing the Fox News model, and ESPN is embracing...
Fox is not... The fact you just said that tells me you haven't watched Fox at all.
Well, at least
Fox News is not... FS1 is not embracing the Fox News model at all. The fact they're owned by the same entity blows my mind. Think about who's on that network.
I think I was more referring to like the radio and web side of all of this, with their embrace.
Oh, you mean Clay Travis?
With their embrace of Outkick and all of that.
They don't really embrace Outkick. They embrace Clay Travis because he worked there first. He did Outkick because that's what he wanted to do, and he has a contract with Fox that won't allow him to work for anybody else. So he found a loophole and went, "Hey, I can go do this and still work for you, and there's not a damn thing you can do about it."
Okay. Well, maybe not. Maybe we'll just use Outkick as the impetus.
Outkick is the impetus.
Okay, there you go. Then I was wrong. I was wrong to say Fox overall. But you're going to have these entities split. One that's on one side, one that's on the other side. I think it's just the era that we live in. We can't agree on anything. Everybody's got to have their own take. So politics in sports will never go away. But we'll try not to get into it here as much.
Yeah, like Stephen
on this program.
Stephen Tao just said in the comments, Fox cuts off Outkick on Sirius at 7:30. As soon as the viewership gets as soon as you get to a point where the viewership would surge, it cuts off. And what we feel is that there's a grand amount of people in this world that we consume sports for it to be escapism.
Absolutely.
And so that's what we're here for.
Absolutely.
I'm going to tell jokes. It's what I do. It's how I got here. I started telling jokes a long time ago, and I'm reasonably damn good at it.
Right.
So we're going to come in this sweet little safe space and tell jokes and talk shit. That's what we're going to do. I don't give a rat's fuck what LeBron thinks. More power to you for saying it. I just don't care. I don't care what any celebrity thinks about anything. I've never looked at George Clooney and gone, I wonder what kind of shampoo he buys. I just don't fucking care. I've wanted to do that for 4 days, and I just now got the opportunity.
But that's the thing. We're so, what I was getting to earlier was with with that conversation that we just had with the cartoon character Rabbit Hole. We're so thirsty for things to talk about right now. I heard on my way in here today, they were talking about hypotheticals of hypotheticals. They're so thirsty for NFL news right now that what's happening with the quarterback carousel? We haven't seen any movement in the last few days, so what's the stupidest thing that we can throw out there? Oh, let's play a clip of a guy who's talking about if the San Francisco 49ers traded Jimmy Garoppolo, that would be a warning sign that something bigger is getting ready to happen.
Something bigger is getting ready to happen.
Okay.
I'm calling it Bloodbath 2021.
Well, you're talking about the free agents, but what they're talking about is the trades and the movement of the big quarterbacks. That we're so craving for something to happen in the NFL because that's what we desire. America, the American sports fan as a whole is now what, 70% NFL, 20% NBA?
Oh no,
maybe
no. It's 88% NFL, 4% NBA, okay. And then you can sprinkle in different shit on a random day. I want you to understand something. Major League Baseball just had a 21-year-old kid?
Yep.
Tatis?
22.
He's 22 years old. Signed a deal that will pay him until he's 105. Was it a 48-year deal?
He'll be 36.
Do you realize that got almost as little coverage as like a random golf tournament gets? There's a reason for that. Because it doesn't drive a number.
Right.
That's the reason we come in here and talk about quarterbacks and draft stuff. And first of all, it's what I know. He's more well-rounded in sports than I am. I mean, I know baseball way more than I claim to. I just don't care. The sport, you have turned me off. The NBA, I know the NBA quite well. I have made a decent amount of money in my life on the NBA. The rest of it, I sprinkle it in. I know golf better than he does. I know MMA better than he does. But he's got all of the ancillary sports. All of it. I'm a football guy. I pruned my sports tree a long time ago. And I pruned it down, and it's real nice and fluffy in the football section. And everything else looks like I forgot to water it for about 6 months. Because I don't have time. We're busy. The NFL is all encompassing. I mean, do you realize we did 8 hours of NFL content yesterday? If you look at our YouTube page, we did 8 hours of NFL content yesterday. And we're going to keep doing that. We'll have previews of, position breakdowns and free agency. The draft. The draft's going to be fun. We have figured out how we're going to do the draft, and it's going to be it's going to be good. I'm looking forward to it. If you really want to see what I'm like, watch the draft coverage. We did this last year, and by hour 5, all the pretenses of I don't want to piss people off had gone out the windy. Plus, I was pounding beers like they were going to run away from me. And we're going to do that again this year.
We need that cake face.
I can't do cricket. I can't. I'm not that well rounded in sports.
The only cricket I know is Jiminy, and I don't really want to talk about him either.
Are you scared of those two?
No.
Okay.
I did used to hit them with wiffle ball bats when I was a kid, though.
Well, who didn't? I mean, come on.
Hey, I did a kid thing?
You did a kid thing.
Sweet.
Congratulations.
I'm a real boy. Oh, boy.
Now, next, tell me you dug in the dirt at some point, and I'll be,
I
never.
don't get my fucking hands dirty. What the hell's the matter with you? Get dirt under your fingernails? That sounds awful.
We're going fishing crayfish out of a creek or something like that.
Why would I fish crayfish out of a creek?
Because it's fun.
Because they taste like shit.
Crawfish.
What? Why would I? I did eat those while I was in Savannah. I'd never really had a crawfish.
Yeah. Don't like it. Okay.
I hate crawfish now as much as I hate squirrels, birds, clowns, and dolls.
That's weird. They're just like tiny little lobsters. How can you not like that?
Your
They're
taste
delicious.
buds are weird.
They're
If you
delicious.
think that's a tiny little lobster, you're doing lobster wrong. Because that tastes like a lobster that you drug through a septic tank. It's
Yeah,
not like a shrimp either.
like a
It's
shrimp.
It's like, like a shrimp that you caught in a septic tank. Huh?
You suck its head.
Yep.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't suck the head. You never suck the head. You can eat the tail, but never suck the head. That's the overall rule. For me, anyway. I can't do it. The taste is not good.
I think it's funny that we're still bouncing back and forth between cartoon characters in the comments.
Oh, are we?
I love you people so much, it is ridiculous.
Has Thundercats been brought up yet? Has anybody gotten into the Thundercats? Because that was...
What's a Thundercat?
Oh, my...
I know what a Thunder Buddy is.
It's different. It's not the same.
Oh, they're not the same?
Not the
Oh,
same.
shit.
At all.
I did it wrong. Adam Black just said lobster is overrated.
Yeah.
Oh, what?
I mean, it's a common sentiment for a lot of people. For a lot of people are under the assumption that the lobster is just a vehicle for the butter. And to me, it's not true. I like lobster, but
I love lobster. Mm-hmm. Oh, I love lobster. Get a little tail, maybe a little fillet. Oh, a little fillet with a baked potato. Reckon that's good.
all right, you ready to do some off-season files? I mean,
Yes.
I feel like we need to.
You know what I learned yesterday? We need to do a reset before all these because cutting these is a pain in the ass.
Yes.
Because we just kind of dive into things. So sometimes
We
the
do.
graphic is another team. I had a couple people yesterday message me and go, "What's happening right here?" Because you just randomly start talking like there's some bullshit. So we need to do the whole subscribe thing and all that marketing shit that I try to tell you.
All right, welcome into the Sportsocracy. Like, share, and follow us on all of the social medias at the Sportsocracy. And of course, click that subscribe button every time so you'll know when we put something out new. We continue with the Offseason Files. The Carolina Panthers are up next. And the Carolina Panthers, it was a very good start to the Matt Rule era. They had an offense that could move the ball. Their defense was not great. But overall, I think the Carolina Panthers have a lot of building blocks that they can work toward. Now, they picked 8th overall in the draft. There's been a lot of talk about what to do with Teddy Bridgewater. The first thing out of Matt Rule's mouth at the end of the season was Teddy Bridgewater is going to have a good offseason if he wants to have a future with this team. Now, I applauded him for his honesty at the moment, but now we kind of, we're coming down a few weeks into the, a month into the offseason, and nothing has happened, and we're finding out that Teddy Bridgewater's been offered up for Matt Stafford. We're hearing that the Panthers are all in on Deshaun Watson. So if the Panthers don't make a move for a quarterback, which I think they probably still will, they're going to be in a hell of a spot, just like the Houston Texans, if they have a quarterback that they've been trying to get rid of, but they can't. I think that's the biggest downside or the biggest con for the Carolina Panthers this offseason. If they're not able to move on from Teddy Bridgewater, it's going to be very precarious going forward.
No, it's not. Teddy knows what the business is. There's no doubt. Teddy knows what the hook is.
Okay.
He's a journeyman quarterback that had a catastrophic knee injury that's been on 4 teams in 5 years. He knows what this is. It's not like he's going to show up with picket signs and shit. He knows who he is. If Teddy Bridgewater is the quarterback of this team next year, I'll be honest with you, it doesn't change anything for me. All right, be really honest with yourself. Mm-hmm. Is this team markedly better if Trey Lance is the starter next year?
No.
Than Teddy Bridgewater?
No.
Are they way better if it's Mac Jones? Are they way better if it's Sam Darnold? That one I might.
No.
That one I might say yes.
I don't know about that.
I do. If they wind up with Sam Darnold, I like this team a lot. Other than that, than Deshaun Watson, but you have to gut the team to get Deshaun Watson. And you've got a defense that the oldest, no doubt starter on the defense is Shaq Thompson. Do you know how old he is?
28.
He's 26.
Okay.
That's the oldest, no doubt starter on the defense. So, I mean, you've got pieces here. This is just one of those things. The thing that I can't say this enough about Carolina. Don't put the cart before the horse. Mm-hmm. And that's what I feel like they're trying to do. You have good young pieces. Robbie Anderson's on a team-friendly deal. Mm-hmm. DJ Moore's still on a rookie deal. Unfortunately, you're probably going to lose Curtis Samuel because there's teams like the Jets that are really interested that have a lot of money.
Yep.
But you've got McCaffrey. That's an albatross deal. But if you can continue to draft well, which I think they did, Derek Brown was good. Jeremy Chin was good. Brian Burns has been a good pass rusher. Shaq Thompson's fine. I don't hate Dante Jackson. You have pieces here. Just stop trying to make yourself a Super Bowl contender because you're not. Mm-hmm. If they trade for Deshaun Watson, which I think there is zero chance of, but if they do, I feel like you've tried to jump the line, and you're going to wind up losing what has made you better than you were. Because I think this team's going to be markedly better next year. Do you agree or disagree?
They'll be markedly better next year?
Yes.
The defense, yes.
I think the team on the whole will be markedly better next year.
I don't know about that. Losing Curtis Samuel, I think, is going to hurt him.
Is it, though?
But that will, yeah, he did a lot.
Do you know how many guys in this draft you could replace him with? Rondale Moore is the same guy.
You're not wrong.
They're the same guy. Mm-hmm. Carolina. There are a lot of Carolina Panthers that are saying, "Oh, we should pay Curtis Samuel $12 million." No, you shouldn't. Under no circumstances should you do that. And neither should any of these other teams. My team's probably going to do it, and he's fine. He had one great year in a contract year. How many times have we seen this? For the love of God, this is like the ending to a Hallmark movie. We've seen how this goes. They don't stop happening. They're going to find the guy that they went to high school with that's just such a nice guy, and they're going to leave that douchebag business broker that they were engaged to. Mm-hmm. That's how every Hallmark movie ever ends. That's how Curtis Samuel getting $12 million a year ends. Ends the same way that we've seen with Albert Wilson, and on and on and on. Mm-hmm. You can replace that guy too easily. Okay. And Matt Rule in my opinion, is a really good coach. You've got an owner here that is dedicated to winning. Just don't try to jump in line. That's the one grand mistake you can make here, is try to jump in line. And thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Matt Rule is a great coach. And he, and I trust this front office so far. David Tepper taking over this team has made a big difference. I feel like there's a completely different feel around there. I think people are more excited about the future with David Tepper being in town and some of the things that have been going not only on the field, but, the investments that have been made around the team as well. Carolina's a pretty cool place to be right now. It's Carolina's, exactly. Carolina's never won a Super Bowl.
No
Well,
Hall
maybe
of
one day,
Famers.
but-
No Super Bowl rings. Never won.
They have Hall of Fame, or they will have Hall of Famers. Cam Newton among them.
You actually believe that?
I do. I do believe he's going to get into the Hall of Fame, and we're going to go, oh, he shouldn't make the Hall of Fame, and he's going to get in. And it's going to be the one that pisses you off and sends you over the edge.
Oh, that is a day that if you like watching me lose my shit, that's a day you should be pining for. Because I will go ham sandwich on that one.
Right. I've already booked my ticket. 7 years from now, I'm going to, when that announcement comes, or 8-10 years from now, whatever it is, I can't wait because I think it's going to happen.
Well, here's the thing. This team's 8th in the NFL in salary cap. Mm-hmm. So they can benefit from some of these team-friendly deals that you're going to see this offseason. I think the thing they have to avoid is paying like a Russell Okung. You're not there. You're not there. You're not paying Russell Okung $10 million. You need Taylor Moton back, and you need to get him back at really any cost. Mm-hmm. I like Matt Paredes. I think they have pieces on the line. You have to draft better. You have drafted some god-awful linemen and reached for them. I feel like I say that about Carolina every year because they never draft them high. They always draft guys late. I've had, in the last 5 years, and I can't think of a name off the top of my head, there's been 2 separate times that they've drafted a lineman, and I went, I don't know who that is.
Greg Little? Was he one?
No, Greg Little was one of the number 1 recruits in the country.
No, I'm saying that you reached on. That they reached on.
No, he was one of those raw talents. The problem with Greg Little is that Greg Little never grew up. Mm-hmm. Greg Little was bigger than every guy he ever faced. Went into the SEC, he never got better. His feet never got better. He was heavy-footed, and his technique sucked. There was talent there, but he just wasn't an NFL talent.
Right. The offensive line has been a problem for years.
By the way, all of you that said Luke Kuechly, you're 100% right. I'm really just screwing with Carolina Panthers fans because we're in this market. Mm-hmm. And I hated the Panthers with Cam Newton because I can't stand Cam Newton. And now you have the... All right, let me ask you a question. Best case scenario at quarterback for the Carolina Panthers this offseason is what? Because I think we're going to have a different answer to this.
The best case scenario for them is to improve the offensive line. I think the best case scenario for them at this point would be ending up with Sam Darnold as their quarterback.
I would agree with that.
And with the 8th pick.
Well, if you wind up with Darnold, you're not going to have the 8th pick.
Oh, they're sending the 8th pick for Darnold.
Well, I know for a fact that 19's on the table. You ain't getting it for your second rounder. So you can get 19 from Washington. You're not going to get Sam Darnold without sacrificing the 8th pick. Now, you might get 34 back.
Right.
You might get that second pick in the second round, which is really valuable.
You'd have to, I would think.
Well, you'll either get that or the late second rounder, and then you'll have to send a 3. I just don't look at Carolina and go, I would rather it be a net neutral in terms of draft picks. Mm-hmm. All right, so we don't have that high-end one, but we have 2 2s that are in really good shape. I would rather do that than have to give extra picks, and then I don't have extra rookies, and I don't have extra depth, and I'm not making the most of the situation.
Yeah. I'm not getting something back other than Darnold. I'm not giving.
Correct.
We're not giving up the number 8 pick in the draft, and the Jets not send something back in draft capital. So if that happens, then yeah, okay. I would be in. I think that'd be an okay move for them. But I've been a guy who at the beginning said, you know what, you don't have to have a quarterback right now. If you're at the 8 spot, don't feel pressured into taking a guy that you're not sold on.
Don't ever take a guy you're not sold on. But now the second best thing Carolina could do, in my opinion, is draft Trey Lance with the intention of keeping him behind Teddy Bridgewater for a year. Next year, you can get out of the Bridgewater deal for virtually nothing.
Yep.
Kiss and make up. We're going to have a year. Bridgewater's going to know that he's going to be on the open market next year. So basically, him is going to be a contract year. You're going to get the best of him that he has. Replace Curtis Samuel with one of the litany of slot guys, and trust me, there are a shitload. I mean, there are guys in the 5th round that I think could come in and be immediate day one starters as slot guys. So don't pay Curtis Samuel. Get re-sign Taylor Moton to a team. I'm not going to say a team-friendly deal, to a reasonable deal. Somebody in the comments keep saying the Jets don't want Bridgewater. Bridgewater wouldn't be involved in that deal.
No.
That's not happening. If the Jets are going to trade Sam Darnold, they're taking Zach Wilson at 2, and whoever the backup's going to be is going to be somebody in that Case Keenum, Colt McCoy, vet backup tier. And
then Teddy Bridgewater ends up in New England.
Could. I mean, there's a lot of teams that Teddy Bridgewater could end up with. So, I mean, it's not – and that's one of the things people get locked into with deals is, we have this asset. We have to send them in the same deal. No, you don't. No. You wind up getting more doing it the other way. It'll clog up your ledger for a while, but it is what it is.
The Carolina Panthers do not – the number one thing for me is you do not need to go all in for Deshaun Watson. You don't need to mortgage the franchise to try to do that. Carolina Panther fans, it sounds great, but I'm telling you, if that ever ended up being the case, which I don't think it's going to be, but if that ever did end up being the case, I think it'd be a mistake.
I agree. Looking to the draft, and with any of the projections I do here, there's no trades. When I project, it's the picks that you have. At 8, I think 8 is the drop dead spot for Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts will not get past the Carolina Panthers, and I firmly believe that. If Pitts were to be gone, I don't see a way that Trey Lance is not there, and I don't know that they're going to be able to pass him up. The raw talent on him is so good that I think somebody like Joe Brady, somebody like Matt Rule is going to look at him and go, my God, the things he can do in this offense. If you told me right now they took anybody other than the 2 guys I just said, I'd be shocked.
If the deal doesn't get done for Sam Darnold, do they definitely take Trey Lance there? Say Trey Lance and Kyle Pitts are there at the same time.
Depends on how they feel about Trey Lance. See, the thing about having Bridgewater is you're buying yourself the opportunity to not force something. And I'll tell you, there's another guy that I know they're interested in. I just don't know if they can pull the trigger at 8. Mac Jones. Matt Rule really likes Mac Jones. They fell in love with this kid at the Senior Bowl. So don't underestimate the ability that they could have him over Trey Lance.
Yeah.
It wouldn't shock me at all.
Well, hell, the way the mocks are going, Mac Jones may not be there. He might be going 4th.
He's not going that high. you have to be really careful with the mocks because a lot of people that do what I do wind up they get information and they don't know how to cut through the bullshit. I've been doing this for a while, so I know what smoke. And last year we did a show 3 days before the draft of I can't remember what we called it. It was something to the effect of is this smoke, fire, or bullshit? And the vast majority of it's bullshit. It's just like last year. Oh, Justin Herbert's going to fall. No, he's not. Justin Herbert's going to go ahead of Tua Tagovailoa. No, he's not. I said all of these things on the 3 days leading up to the draft. We're in prime bullshit season right now. This is where you can't believe hardly anything you hear. And I think you have to be careful with that.
Like and subscribe. We'll continue all of the off-season files here in the Sportsocracy.
Well, hold on. Before we switch over, I didn't go further down into the rest of the draft. They have 2 more picks. I think this is a team that needs to come. They need another corner at some point. I look at Asante Samuel Jr., the kid out of Florida State. I think he fits this scheme really well. After watching him at Florida State, he's a guy that the stats aren't going to jump off the page to you, but the rest of the secondary was so bad that a lot of teams just avoided him. He's a guy I could see being a big ball hawk corner in the NFL. Having Dante Jackson on the other side is a perfect pairing because the biggest knock on Asante Samuel is going to be he's not that fast. He's not that big and he's not that fast. Cool. I have Dante Jackson who can haul ass. So if you have a Tyreek Hill or a Jalen Waddle or one of these receivers that's insanely fast, I can line Dante Jackson up on him. Asante Samuel can take the slower guy and he will probably shut him down. So long as you don't have a receiver that can run by him, he's going to be a really good corner in this league. After that, I start looking into safeties because they do have a deficiency at safety.
Mm-hmm. Trey Boston's gone now.
Trey Boston's gone. You know, the current depth chart has Justin Burris and Miles Hartsfield and Justin Burris is a free agent. Mm-hmm. I could see them looking to add something on the offensive line. I've heard of several people say they could take Rashawn Slater in the top 8. I don't buy that. Slater's one of those guys that is going to either end up going way higher than I think he is, or he's going to be down where I believe he is and everybody else is wrong. Mm-hmm. Like the talent. Would love to fit in Carolina, just don't like him at 8.
Carolina's got a lot of holes, and the thing that they need to do is not jump the line, not try to force it too early. You made a great leap in this first year under Matt Rule. And again, I think the future is bright for the Colossus Panthers.
The Colossus
Uniting
Panthers.
North and South Carolina.
Now you can reset it.
Now, like and subscribe. We'll continue with the Offseason Files next. The LA Rams. The LA Rams were a team that won several games this year, ended up in the playoffs, and they were a team that we thought down the stretch could vie for a Super Bowl. It didn't end up panning out. But they made the trade in the offseason to get Matt Stafford. They think that's their piece to being a Super Bowl team. Jared Goff is now off in Detroit. They have Matt Stafford. They have 2 defensive players that make $80 million a year combined. They are $35 million over the cap. They have 3 draft picks. 3! They only have 3 draft picks. They have a 2nd rounder, a 6th rounder, and a 7th rounder. What is their number one priority here? They've got free agents that they're going to lose, and they can't do anything about it.
Yeah, I mean, they are over the cap. They're going to lose guys like John Johnson. John Johnson's going to be a very sought-after free agent. Mm-hmm. He's one of the top safeties on the market. The thing that might be that might give the Rams the ability to keep him is if you franchise him, the deals that get signed this year don't count against you. Marcus May is going to sign a huge deal with the Jets. Justin Simmons is going to get tremendous money. I could see a path that they're actually able to keep John Johnson. Mm-hmm. Where it gets into a problem for me is that then I look at Leonard Floyd and Gerald Everett, who's is a tremendous talent to me. Samson Abukum, Darius Williams, who is one of the top corners on the market. Mm-hmm. Those are homegrown talents that your team has hit on in the draft because you've had guys like Brad Holmes, the new GM of the Detroit Lions, that have been killing the draft. That's the reason this constantly trading your first rounders thing hasn't killed them. Mm-hmm. Now, the question is, now that he's gone and you've lost some things in the front office, can you keep doing that? And the answer is I don't know. You know, what can you save? I'm afraid you're going to lose Andrew Whitworth. I'm afraid that we have come to the end of the road. He might come back for one more year.
Yeah, I think he's going to be back for one more year because he's still under contract, and he's 39 years old. Yes, he'll be 40 years old, but he's still, I mean, I would say he's one of the best left tackles in the league still. He's at the bottom of that tier at 39 years old. So why would you give it up when you know this is a team that, I mean, they've got a window here. We know the window. The window is 1 to 2 years to be able to make this work because you're not going to be able to keep all these guys around. So I can see Andrew Whitworth very well, going, yeah, this season hurt, but I think I can do it one more time.
And that's entirely possible. The thing with the Rams where I think people are maybe not seeing the forest for the trees, mm-hmm. They can save almost $60 million in restructuring deals. This is a team that has not kicked the can down the road. They have swallowed the frog, and now they got $34 million in dead cap hit from Todd Gurley and Jared Goff, and there's another one. I can't remember who the other guy is. Leonard Floyd. So you've got some dead cap. If you're going to restructure deals, this would be the year because you're going to have $34 million in dead cap space come off next year. Mm-hmm. So I don't think they're in as bad a shape as people think. They're going to be one of those teams that comes along and really hits the buyout market. Another thing that you have to think about, they could break the compensation structure this year.
What do you mean?
They have 62 players under contract right now. Let's say they lose John Johnson and Leonard Floyd, mm-hmm. and Gerald Everett and Darius Williams. That could end up fetching them 3 or 4 compensatory picks next year. So long as they stay off stay out of unrestricted free agency, which, I mean, they almost have to because they don't have that much money. As long as you stick to guys that are cut by other teams, you could wind up doing really well in compensatory picks, which obviously a comp 5th-round pick doesn't make up for a first-rounder.
Right.
But if you draft as well as this team does, you can still add depth pieces, still be tremendously competitive down the line. This is not I don't look at this team the same way I look at like Pittsburgh or New Orleans. The all-in, all-or-nothing, we've got 1 year, and then we're going to be hot dumpster juice in a year. I don't look at the Rams that way.
No.
They have young talent that's under contract for a long time. And I think so long as you do this the right way, and this is a really well-run organization, I think they could be in good shape for several years to come.
But what do they do at quarterback?
Matthew Stafford.
But for several more years?
Yeah.
You think
Stafford's
he's got 5 more years in it?
Your quarterback was 43 years old and won a Super Bowl. I understand there's injury issues with Matt Stafford that, Brady and Breeze and all these other guys haven't had.
Yeah, I don't know if he lasts that long. That's my problem.
But he's not going to last a year. This is not a 1-year rental. This is several years down the line. Most important thing is that you're going to have a deficiency on the edge because you're going to lose a Boogum. I don't see any way they can bring him back because he's going to get a deal on the open market that he's a talented guy and he's well thought of in the NFL. I hope for their sake Whitworth comes back because their line is it's doing stuff. It's doing stuff. And with Matt Stafford's a deep ball guy. My biggest qualm with Stafford to the Rams is that Stafford's a deep ball guy. That's hard to do when your line is an atrocity. And theirs is in large part. I don't mind Austin Blythe. I don't necessarily mind Austin Corbett. But if you lose Whitworth, then it could get ugly. Another team I could see taking flyers on guys like Jason Peters or older guys that are ring hunting. This could be a ring hunting team where you see a bunch of vets take very little money to come out here for a year.
Absolutely. I mean, I think they are one of the, I think they are the best team in their division right now.
I don't.
I do. I mean, I think San Francisco is going to be.
I think San Francisco and the Cardinals are interchangeable. I want to know what happens in the offseason.
Right. I think at this point they are the favorites in their division. And Cam Akers, watch out. Watch out for Cam Akers next year. If he can continue the path that he set in the last, 4 weeks of this season, this could be a special team.
Oh, I mean, it absolutely could be. The thing I will tell you to watch for in the draft with the Rams, Raheem Morris is the defensive coordinator. This is a different scheme than you saw under Brandon Staley, unless he's going to adapt, which is entirely possible. This is a guy that's coached offense and defense in the NFL, so he's obviously very adaptable. Watch the Rams. They have some tradable assets. I don't think they're only going to make 3 picks in this draft. I don't buy it. I could see some pieces moved. I struggle to believe that the high-end guys on this team are all going to be there. I really do. And when I look at the ability to trade anybody, you don't get killed if you trade Cooper Kupp. You don't get killed if you trade Robert Woods. And there are receivers in this draft. I'm not dead sold that those two are both on the roster week 1 of next year. That's how I should have said that.
Okay.
Because they really like Van Jefferson, and they should. He was a guy I really liked last year. And they're going to need more draft picks. So just don't be shocked if you haven't seen the last of them making deals.
Again, just 3 picks to deal with, $39 million over the cap. It's going to be an interesting offseason. I mean, hell, it's already been. The league year hadn't even started yet, and they've already traded their quarterback for Matt Stafford in a deal that apparently got done on the beaches of Cabo, which is
don't be
nice
shocked with.
touch.
By the way, don't be shocked with Whitworth if they can convince him to come back. Don't be shocked if they rework that deal, a la what just got done with Ben Roethlisberger. where they extend it for a couple more years, put some voidable years on it, can extend the cap hit so he's not. I mean, I think he's $11-something million on the cap this year.
Right.
I won't be shocked if they do something like that.
Okay.
And then look for them in the draft to be that team that just when you see them on the clock, they keep taking that guy that's fallen too far.
Right.
Dylan Moses with the LA Rams makes so much sense it makes my brain hurt. It just does, because they have the ability to hide him. They have so much talent. And the fact that he doesn't cover well in space is not going to kill them. But he will help them against the run. And I think he can, in the right scheme, learn to. He didn't fit in the Saban scheme. I think with a coordinator like Raheem Morris, who's willing to adapt, I could see this being a really, really good team and a really good defense.
I think this year is going to be another great year for the Los Angeles Rams. The Matt Stafford deal, I think, makes them for sure a contender in the NFC. Probably, I don't know, top of my head, second best team, third best team.
So they're somewhere in that neighborhood.
Yeah,
The West to me is not as settled as you think it is.
No, I don't think it's settled.
See, you do definitives before things have happened that I don't do.
Right.
You know, because you scoff and roll your eyes every time I say the Rams and Cardinals and 49ers to me they're all in the same ballpark. And if I believed in the Seahawks more, I would throw them out there. I don't. I don't believe in the defense, I don't believe in the line, and I don't think there's much you can do to fix it. But I could understand it if you did and you wanted to put them in that same area. But that's still, to me, 4 of the 7 best teams in the NFC. So this is going to be a fun division. I'm really curious to see how they add talent, but with this front office, I don't put anything over them. I mean, they've been playing this sleight of hand bullshit since they drafted Jared Goff. They will have gone 7 years without a first rounder if they don't trade another one by the time they pick one, but by the time they have one again. And yet you've still continued to be competitive. That's almost mind-boggling in the NFL.
Don't forget to like, share, and, of course, subscribe to the Sportsocracy as our off-season files will continue throughout the rest of the off-season. We'll be with you this afternoon on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. The Sports Tank with Jeremy Greene, heard everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. From 3 to 5 every weekday afternoon, we'll talk more college basketball, look ahead to the conference tournaments this weekend as March Madness is upon us. And, of course, anything breaks, we will bring it to you this afternoon. I'm Tank Spencer. He's Jeremy Greene.
Yep.
We are in the Wicked Weed studio, wickedweedbrewing.com. Drink different. We'll see you this afternoon.